The Curse Under the Tree. The Lost Night of Betty and Barney Hill. Chapter 3, The Secret on the Examination Table and the Hybrid Hope. The Cold Heart of the Ship. In the previous chapter, we saw how the scientific confirmation of Betty's hypnotically drawn Zeta Reticuli star map forever changed the story's credibility. We now had not just a story, but a map from space. However, this map did not show where the fear began. The fear was experienced inside the craft, on the examination table. Under hypnosis, Betty and Barney relived every second of those 2 lost hours. The moment on that dark road when the door opened, when the large-eyed entities took them out of the car with a gentle but firm violence. This chapter will focus on the experience inside the ship. The cold hours when humanity was first examined as a biological specimen by a non-human intelligence. These experiences reveal the ultimate answer to why we were abducted, why our genetic materials were so valuable, and what those entities wanted from the human race. This is not just an examination room. This was the laboratory of humanity's future. Sterile and cold, inside the craft. After being removed from their car, Betty and Barney were led up a slippery and unsettlingly textured ramp and into the ship. Their accounts under hypnosis contain striking details about the craft's interior. Interior space, everything was seamless, made of single-piece metal. Corners were rounded. A white, fluorescent light streamed from the walls and ceiling. This light felt colder, more sterile, and mechanical than typical hospital lighting. Sounds and smells, absolute silence reigned inside, with only a low, electronic hum audible. The smell was a mixture of metal, ozone, and a strange, clinical odor resembling a hospital. Barney described the smell as something like moldy potatoes, potentially a foreign odor stemming from the being's biology. The leader of the entities, most of the entities were between 4 feet and 4 feet 4 inches tall. However, one figure was taller, about 5 feet 3 inches tall, and moved like a commander. The Hills referred to this figure as the supervisor, or leader. This leader had a posture that exuded more authority and less mechanicalness than the others. The Hill couple were kept together briefly inside the ship before being separated. Betty was taken by the leader, while Barney was escorted by the other gray figures to different rooms. The true trauma and the core of the genetic examination were now beginning. Barney's nightmare, the needle and the agony. When Barney recounted this memory under hypnosis, even the recording machine shook. He had suppressed this memory with such profound horror that its reappearance was sheer psychological torture. Barney was placed on a metal gurney. His clothes were removed, and he was subjected to cold, harsh light. The entities examined him from head to toe. They took hair samples and skin samples. These seemed like standard biological record-keeping procedures. But the greatest trauma occurred during the final examination. Biological assault. According to Barney's account, one of the entities held an instrument resembling a long, thin, glowing needle in its hand. This instrument was used not for a medical purpose but for biological recording. The entity inserted this instrument into Barney's left groin area, close to his genitals. The focal point of trauma. Under hypnosis, Barney believed this needle was used for sperm retrieval. The pain he felt was not just physical but a humiliating, soul-wounding assault. This was an attack on his masculine dignity, which is why he had buried this memory the deepest. Mental communication. During the examination, Barney felt he was receiving a constant mental command: be calm. This is only an examination. No harm will be done. This telepathic communication only amplified his panic, as he realized control was entirely in the hands of an alien entity. Barney's examination showed how intensely the entities were interested in human reproduction and genetics. These experiments were not random discovery but planned, focused genetic research. Betty's curiosity and the forbidden book. Betty's experience was less physically violent than Barney's, but more rich in information. Betty maintained a more calm and analytical attitude in the leader figure's room. Instead of succumbing to fear, she tried to understand the entity's technology and culture. The examination performed on Betty was similar to Barney's. Skin, hair, and nail samples were taken. But Betty's most crucial observation concerned a long, metallic needle inserted into her nose. Surveillance device. The needle was guided towards Betty's head, brain. Betty believed it was being used to place some kind of implant or surveillance device. This indicated that the entities were interested not only in our genetics but also in our mental processes. The supervisor's book. Following the examination, Betty got a chance to speak with the leader figure. This conversation took place telepathically. During this exchange, she noticed a small, rectangular book on the leader's desk. The book's cover was made of thin, metallic material, and the writing inside contained unknown hieroglyphs or symbols. Betty, yielding to her curiosity, asked the leader for the book. The leader smiled and replied, "No. You are not ready for this." This was a striking demonstration of the technological and informational disparity. When the leader showed Betty the Zeta Reticuli map, and Betty claimed she couldn't remember it, the leader said, "Then there is no reason for you to remember," and wiped the map clean. This demonstrated the entity's immense and casual superiority in manipulating human memory. The purpose of abduction: defeating extinction. The examinations and the collection of genetic materials performed on the Hill couple led researchers to one conclusion: the aliens were facing a genetic crisis. A dying race. It is believed that the species known as the Greys had lost its genetic diversity through thousands of years of cloning and artificial reproduction. Sterile, emotionally impoverished, and on the verge of extinction, these beings saw the human race as a lifeline. The value of humanity, our emotional diversity, natural reproductive capability, and complex genetic structure were a lost treasure to them. They were attempting to create hybrid entities using human genetics. These hybrids would carry both their superior intelligence and our robust biology. The Dulce connection. The Hill couple were first-generation victims of the cosmic treaty and genetic experiments signed at the Dulce underground base. The material taken from their bodies was as valuable as the technology retrieved from Roswell. The government, by turning a blind eye to these human abductions, had handed over the genetic future of its own people to the aliens, treating them like laboratory mice. The Hills didn't just experience an abduction. They were the unsuspecting soldiers in an interstellar genetic war and a struggle for survival. The buzz and the return. The examination was over. Betty and Barney were led out of the craft. The entities returned them to their car. But one final procedure was necessary: memory blocking. That ear-splitting buzzing sound was, in fact, a conscious mental intervention. The entities created a trigger to force their traumatic memories into the subconscious. This was a final assault performed to ensure the Hills could never consciously recall those 2 hours. Unfortunately, the buzzing wasn't strong enough. Dr. Simon's hypnosis broke that block and revealed the truth. But this destroyed the Hills' lives. What about the aftermath? Betty Hill was left alone after her husband's death. That star map and that story became her life's mission. In the next and final chapter, we will examine the long-term impact of the Hill couple's case. Betty's new life. How did Betty transform into an investigator? Unbelievable testimonies. What effect did the Hill case have on other abduction victims? The true legacy. How did the Hill couple's case shape modern ufology and abduction research? Watch episode 4 to watch the final act of this cosmic story and continue this journey with us.